Hello, in this video I want to talk about sex and why it's used as a weapon by the emotional abuser or the narcissist. Hello and welcome to Revive Your Soul. My name is Elizabeth Goddard and on this channel I talk about emotional abuse, healing from those invisible chains that are keeping you trapped in the relationship, not allowing you to move on and live a more fulfilling life. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to like and share. And if you're returning, thank you and welcome back. So why does the emotional abuser use sex as a weapon? The chances are that listening to this, you're looking for answers, trying to understand what's been going on in your relationship, or you might have already been discarded and you're trying to understand what your relationship was really about. Perhaps you left knowing it wasn't healthy, but you're still not able to put your finger on what it was, and you're now wondering if you did the right thing. Perhaps you're at the lowest point you've ever been in your life. There are two camps, the one where sex was okay, but it wasn't earth-shattering, and I think you were in the one where it was absolutely amazing. They were so attentive and they made sure your needs were taken care of before their own. It's very doubtful that the first camp would be trying to understand why sex was so good. In a typical narcissistic way, their emotional abuser went down the entitlement route and got their gratification without a thought for their partner, saying something like, "Oh, how was that for you?" and rolling over and promptly falling asleep. The second camp, however, experienced something completely different. Sex was used as a manipulation tool, falling for the sexually active abuser who understood the supply they got from gratifying their partner and who understood how they could use sex to manipulate, bond and control them. Sex was used to manipulate your emotions in the same way the cycle of abuse works. Now, women act differently to sex than men. Their hormones play a different role, and with sex, women start to bond with a partner. They see it as becoming a couple. They're seeing sex as a commitment, as trusting their partner, and they hand over a part of themselves in this intimate act. For men, it's slightly different. They become mesmerised by the female emotional abuser. They're captivated by them. The abuser ensures that the victim's needs are met, and they're like a widow spider who lures their mate into their web and then eats them once they've had sex. The emotional abuser can easily spot what is missing from their victim's life, and they put on a mask and they play that role. All the questioning at the beginning of the relationship wasn't an interest in you. Well, it sort of was. It was more for the abuser to gain important information that they can later use to manipulate you. They lure their victims and get them to trust them. They create bonds that then become difficult to break. For women, they see the abuser perhaps as their fairy tale prince that they'd heard stories about. Sadly, there isn't ever a happy ever after. For men, they might be attracted by the female abuser's physical beauty or caring nature. They probably weren't thinking of getting into a relationship, but they were lured there by them. And the abuser knows that once they have connected with you sexually, they are in a better position to trauma bond you and play more games. Relationships are supposed to make you feel secure, and a healthy partner would make sure you felt that way. But the abuser actually goes out of their way to create the opposite feeling. And one of their favourite games is triangulation. Introducing another person into the conversation, an ex-lover or a friend or a previous love interest. They may even try to sexually coerce you into performing acts that you're not comfortable with. They use the cycle of abuse, love bombing 1 minute and then pushing you away the next, leaving you feeling insecure. They talk far too much about their exes than a normal person, and they do this to create jealousy. Then they might rush off and discard you, only to reappear at a later date and start that cycle of abuse all over again. You might have caught them cheating and they apologise, telling you how good you are together, how you're meant to be together, and they're so sorry, and they promise they're never going to do it again, how they want to change, and you are the person that can help them do that. And they leave you torn, knowing you should really walk away, but because you're bonded, believing you are the only person. Sadly, their apologies are as false and empty as they are. They knew exactly what they were doing when they used their techniques to create these bonds and keep you trapped. They promised you so much, and they hooked you up again to an even stronger dose of bonding hormones, and you became addicted to this feeling, and you now need a higher and higher dosage, and this is what's keeping you trapped. You now need to wean yourself off the hormone rushes that you crave. If this has happened to you and you were bonded by the abuser, this isn't love, this is abuse. It wasn't lovemaking, it was sex. There was no real connection, they just allowed you to believe there was. And when they know you're hooked, you start to get a glimpse of the person behind the mask. They don't need to keep up that pretense for as long. They know how hard it will be for you to walk away. Sex is a weapon. It can now be withheld to punish you, making you question what is wrong with you, why they no longer feel attracted to you, breaking down your self-esteem, and they use triangulation, talking about other people. Sex is also a way of gaining attention for them. They get supply from it. Didn't they question you about their performance, wanting to know were they the best lover you'd ever had? Sex for them isn't about the union of two people. In fact, when I've researched these subjects for other videos, I found articles suggesting they don't actually like sex. It's too intimate. They much prefer to masturbate. For them to enjoy sex is for them to give their power away. And if you think back, they were always in control. There was no real intimacy. You need to protect yourself. They infiltrated your body and then they started on your soul. And you realise that they have taken over every aspect of your life. That simple act was to gain your trust and to bond you. They knew what they were doing and you were left broke and broken. I know I was. And if this is where you are now, feeling empty, feeling a deep loneliness and unloved, you are the target for another one just to walk in and to slot into place. I know so many people who get into relationships, new relationships, just to feel loved and valued. The emotional abuser is looking for immediate gratification. And they're really quite lazy. They don't want to work hard or invest too much time or money. By healing the wounds you have, you will not be needy and you will become less attractive to an abuser. When they realise you are not as easily manipulated by them, they will move on to someone else who will be. Reset your boundaries. Just like after a storm where there might be damage to a fence, you would go out and secure it, repair it. Do the same with your own personal ones. There was actually nothing wrong with them. You were just convinced that there was. And each time they violated them or broke them down, you believed it was your fault. It wasn't. This was part of their game. Repair them and stand firm. If someone doesn't like the boundaries you have put in place, let them move on. They will have no respect for you. Don't give your power away. And realise you don't have to have sex with anyone if you don't want to. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. You have been badly hurt, so remember it is okay to protect yourself. You don't need to share information with anyone if you don't want to, or you don't feel comfortable doing it. And if someone is really interested in you for who you are, they will understand this and they will want to make you feel secure. They won't keep pestering you for information on your previous relationships. And if they see this as a red flag, let them move on. Don't be manipulated by anyone to do or say anything you're not comfortable with. Put yourself first and listen to your body. Your body is an amazing machine. It has an ancient built-in warning system. When something doesn't feel right, it usually isn't. Don't let anyone tell you to ignore it, and listen to them instead. It won't be long before they are telling you that you're too sensitive, you can't take a joke. You don't know this person, so don't start putting them before your friends and family. Anyone who respects you will respect other important relationships in your life. They won't be jealous of them. When you enforce your boundaries, an abusive person will get bored and they will move on. Let them. If someone is really interested in you, they will invest the time to get to know you. They will not put you in situations where they will hurt you. They will not say things to cause you pain. They will not want to see you in pain. They will not want to control you. Sex was used as a weapon to bond you into a relationship, to manipulate and control you. If you are recovering from the trauma bonding, start grounding yourself. These chains are invisible and you will need to break them to feel whole. I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to find out more information on how to work with me, I've got 2 Facebook groups and I'll put the links in the description below. I'll also put the links to my books, Finding Lily and The A to Z of Emotional Abuse, in the description. And if you would like to work with me on a one-to-one basis, you can visit my website, reviveyoursoul.co.uk, or you can drop me an email, info@reviveyoursoul.co.uk. I'm sending you loads and loads and loads of love.